Hello, my name's Odessa Esco, and this is English and Culture. Today I'm going to be talking about the N-word and what the N-word means and if it's appropriate for you to be saying based on who you are in this world. This is the first of some more cultural and English focused videos to help students with difficult topics like race, ethnicity, nationality, and very important historical events that have words that we still use today and what it means when you use these words and phrases. If you have any words or phrases that you know are very culturally or racially sensitive that you have questions about, please leave them down in the comments below. I will also be making a written document of all of these words, so stay tuned for that. Today's video is actually in response to a comment that was left on one of my reels about the N-word being used in a classroom at my brother's school. He is in high school and he is a Black young man. He is in a mostly white neighborhood. So the people around him are white people, the teachers are white people. There are other ethnicities as well, Asian people, brown people, but not that many Black people. That's important to note because the N-word affects specifically African Americans. That's where it came from. The history of this word is rooted in African American history. This is why sometimes you'll meet African people who were not born in America and who do not have African American culture. They don't have the same reaction, the same understanding of the word, the N-word. It may be confusing because we're all Black people. A person born and raised in Nigeria and a person born and raised in Canada may look exactly the same, but our cultures are very different now because of slavery. During slavery, cultures were not allowed to be practiced, languages, traditions, religions were forbidden and destroyed. Because of that, African Americans' cultural history is different than Africans. If that doesn't make sense, again, leave a comment down below. But that's something to remember. In Canada, the word has history attached to it. It's not just a word in a song, like it might feel in other countries that don't share the same history of slavery. When this word is used, most people can associate it with slavery. However, a lot of times people are not educated about the depths and the amount of trauma that people who are as descendants, right? They have family members who were in the slave trade as slaves or affected as being racially discriminated against heavily, violently from those times. People have continued trauma and are still affected by that word. Many Black people themselves don't use the N-word because that history makes us sad, makes us angry. It's very triggering within our own community at times. So, to hear other people who we know have no history or no knowledge of our history or how we might be feeling. Ooh, did I just get emotional? Oh my gosh! Or how we may be feeling when we hear that type of word, especially in a room full of people who will never be able to feel how you feel when you hear it. This word can be used by anyone, but the people who it hurts and affects usually are only African American people. A lot of people can be offended, right? I don't like that, that's rude. They don't like to hear that type of word, just like any other swear word, like the F word, other curse words. But to be truly hurt and emotionally damaged by a word, a lot of words can't do that to people, but the N-word for sure can. So when we use it, for educational reasons or entertainment reasons, the feelings don't change. The feelings don't change at all. A lot of times people just jump to the educational use and the entertainment use of the N-word, and a lot of African Americans are aware of that. So when you choose to use that word and sing it along with the song, and you choose to be, on trend with the song rather than knowledgeable about the history of the word, that's what's happening in the moment. Because truthfully, there's no real way to stop yourself from saying a word that doesn't affect you. So my recommendation for people confused about if they should be saying the N-word or not, learn the history about the word. Learn why and when that word was used, and when and why Black people choose to use that word. Some Black people use that word because it's been used on us for so long in a negative way that it became a part of our own language. When we were speaking in those times, we weren't allowed to call ourselves certain things without raising eyebrows. They wanted to hear us degrade ourselves as well. The N-word was used to keep us down mentally. So a lot of Black people adopted it, whether intentionally or subconsciously. That's how they began to see each other and one another. As we changed our image through time, and as we see ourselves as something other than property, of course, and something that should be respected, the word has changed with our meaning of ourselves. That's how some Black people feel. They believe the N-word's definition has changed with our own self-awareness of our worth, right? We value ourselves. So now when I say the N-word, it's not degrading to you. It's acknowledging our history and our past and and taking back that word, reclaiming it, repurposing it within our community to uplift us instead of tear us down. I can see and understand that perspective. That's one perspective. It's not all Black people's. Like I said, some Black people never want to hear that word, even from other Black people, but especially from non-Black people. Like I said, you can always say whatever you want. Be prepared for the repercussions. I personally don't have anybody who's not Black that says the word around me and I don't get uncomfortable. I've never had a situation where I've heard the word from a non-Black person and not felt uncomfortable. Sometimes I felt like I can't say something about it. Sometimes I feel like I can. That changes, but I always feel uncomfortable. When you're singing it in a song for fun, if that's fun for you to bring up those emotions just by knowing you saying it and you not being a Black person, it's, reflective of who you want to have in your life. You'll have certain people not want to be in your life if you use the N-word as a non-Black person. I don't hang out with non-Black people who use the N-word just because I don't want to hear it. And I feel it's a lack of respect for Black people's humanity. Not just respect as like regular respect ego, but you don't respect us as human beings if you use this word that was used to dehumanize us. They didn't want to call us human. That wasn't a Black boy, that was a Black N-word. They didn't want to call us humans. That's why the N-word was used in most cases, just to dissociate and to separate Black people from a human as much as possible. I want you to always have your own vocabulary and word choice, but as an English learner, I don't recommend this being in your language at all. I don't recommend you getting comfortable singing it in songs because it will be especially difficult for you to know when and where to use that word, when and where someone might appreciate or not want to start an argument with you over it. So better safe than sorry. But like I always say, it's your choice. If you want to say the N-word in a song and you feel like somebody will think your English is bad if you don't say it, that's not true. A lot of Black people expect you to not say the word. for you to skip over it, for you to say a different word. You can say playa, you can say buddy, you can say whatever fits the vibe of the song and make it work, because that song wasn't written for non-Black people, clearly. It's okay if you enjoy it, but very clearly it was written by a Black person and they're telling their story. Not every part of everyone's story is relatable to everyone. I'm a Black female and I have a lot more details about my identity. You might not be able to have the same characteristics and same identity as every single part of me. And for that reason, you might not be able to engage in certain things that I make and create and say as much as somebody who does. That's to say, when a Black artist makes art, they're not limited by not using the N-word. And perhaps that sounds limiting to people who aren't Black, but if respecting and creating humanity for another fellow human is limiting, that's a reflection of you. You can just think about all of the artists in the world. How many non-Black artists use the N-word in their songs? It's not a coincidence. They're aware, especially in music, that's not tolerated. Non-Black artists do not use the N-word because they understand its racial history. They understand that they won't make money, perhaps, because people will think they're racist. But beyond the money, that language isn't part of their storytelling. Even white rappers like Eminem, they don't use the N-word. And when they have, they've had horrible backlash and they've had to apologize. I think that this is just a basic concept that we all have to accept, that not everything is made with you in mind, and that may affect how you can enjoy it. And that's because it's art. It's not for everyone. It's for the person who makes it and expresses it. And if you can relate to it appropriately, you can relate to it. But if you can't relate to how it feels when somebody wants to tell you you're not a human based off of this color of your skin, I don't think you should really be saying that word. And if you can relate to that, then you understand why that community doesn't want you saying that word. I would never use any racial slur for any other group myself. That's why I don't think it's very difficult to just not use the N-word, and to also respect that it's respecting others when you choose not to use it. It's a very positive thing, and it becomes easier the more you do it, the more you associate not saying the N-word with saying, I love and respect Black people as humans, because that's what you're saying when you choose not to say it. I don't think it will be as derailing as you're saying it is right now for you to participate in, songs with the N-word. They have the radio version of every song, and you notice they bleep out the N-word. So the radio versions usually sound pretty good as well. You could listen to the radio versions, but I think you should be able to listen and just also not say it. But it's up to you. Your word choice is your word choice, and it will reflect in the people you have in your life and the things that you have in your life. So, like I said, people in my life that aren't Black don't use the N-word, and the ones that are Black don't use the N-word disrespectfully or in a way that would make me feel uncomfortable. I hope everyone's having a good start to their 2024. There will be more videos like this to come, so please leave a comment down below for any recommendations on any topics or any subjects of words you would like me to discuss culturally or racially in English. As always, stay cute, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!